Welcome, one and all, to the Doug Rice Show. My name is Doug Rice. I want to thank you for being here. Welcome, one and all. This is brought to you by Twidwear. As you can see, Twidwear is everywhere. Got my Twid gear, loving it. It is comfy, it is cozy, and of course, it makes my cheeks all rosy. All right, there, folks, we got a 10-minute moment to go through, and we're going to get through it too. Now, this involves the massive land grab that was done to Negroes. We're going to start from the beginning, and I'm going to, of course, do all of my fancy disclaimers and stuff there in the corner. As you can see there, it says, just watch this video. Don't get in your feelings about it. I'm fair usage. Here we go. And here we go.
1910, about 14% of U.S. farmers were black, owning more than 16 million acres. Now, according to the agriculture's latest farm census, only 1 in 100 farmers is black, owning fewer than 5 million acres. By one estimate, that's a loss of land value of about $326 million.
So $326 million in land grab done by European Americans, claiming that this is such a fair country, that, you know, the playing field is even. Well, we're going to find out how even it is. Let's continue listening. Here we go.
A new documentary called Gaining Ground, The Fight for Black Land, explores how this happened, its lasting effect on black families, and their efforts now to reclaim their legacy and create generational wealth. Emmy-nominated Eternal Hope wrote and directed the film and is one of the film's executive producers, along with television personality Al Roker. How did this big drop in black farmers and black farmland ownership, how did this happen?
Now, this is where I want you to pay particular attention. See, when we open our Negro mouths about our circumstances in this country, these are the circumstances that we discuss and talk about, not the fantasy fairy tale in most white minds about fair treatment in this place. Please listen carefully, as it's right in your face.
Well, there's a little known legal loophole called heirs property, which essentially allows for a person to buy a interest in your property and then force you to sell the land at a low rate, or you just lose it because you don't have the funds to fight in the court. So imagine you have 10 heirs who all have a claim to a property, and one of them sells, and it doesn't matter how big or small the interest of the property that they sell. Someone who bought that interest can now force you to sell all of it. So if it's 4,000 acres and they sell 1 acre, that sale, that 1 acre will allow the purchaser of that acre to force the sale of all of the land.
So what have we learned in that short explanation as to how these devils just wrangled land out of the hands of unsuspecting and trusting Negroes, more likely? And it doesn't stop there. The nefarious nature of these beings that surround us is only masked by the comfort they've created for themselves. And as long as they're comfortable, as long as they get what they want, believe me, they'll leave Negroes alone. But the second they see something that Negroes have that they wish to obtain, they will use every ounce of subterfuge and deception and lies and deceit. And it's their MO. It's what they've done their entire existence. And so I like hearing these admissions of their dishonest practices concerning Black people. Let's continue. I want to hear more about this.
And that's pretty egregious when you think about millions of acres that have been lost.
As I understand it from the documentary, a lot of farmers thought by leaving it to all their heirs, all their children, for instance, it would be better, it would be easier to hold on to, but that didn't turn out to be the case.
Well, exactly, because their thinking was, and it kind of makes sense, that you would have to get everyone to sign off on the property sale. But you do not have to have everyone sign off to sell one portion of the property you're entitled to. And it especially happens in situations where there's no will or no clear title to the land. And that's where sort of the chaos sort of comes in, with a lot of people being able to have a claim to a piece of property. And it could be 10 heirs if it's one generation, 2 or 3, it could be 40 or 50. And in some cases where you have 5 generations, it could be 200 different people who have a claim to a piece of land.
Well, 200 people to a single claim of land, making it just as confusing and, well, just unable to get a firm hold. And of course, so many of us have no will, have no written out expectations of what will happen upon our demise. But for me, the most poignant point of this video is the underhandedness of those who claim to be so honest and upright. You know, when they smile in your face, you remember these instances of how they would wrestle holdings from Negroes, from their families, to refuse them the generational wealth that they ensure their own families are in line for. And I can't imagine this horror stories of families who thought they had a very secure future, only to find out through some litany of litigious idiocy, they have to subject themselves to the legal system, and much times lose the fight in holding on to property. For me, this is a simple lesson in that we are not meant to succeed here. We are not meant to hold land in a land where so much blood was poured out upon it in order to obtain it. And anyone that engages in the pursuit of the American dream without being conscious of the fact that it is, for most Negroes, an American nightmare, is more likely not been too closely associated with the endeavors put on by white people when they see something that they think Negroes should not have. That's right, folks. I try to go all in these 10-minute moments because I think it's imperative that we understand where we sit within the framework of these united snakes that hiss about us. And it will never be a fair playing field. It will never be an equal opportunity for Negroes as long as they reside amongst these descendants of our enslavers. And yes, those are the facts. And that's the 10-minute moment. And that's that. Well, that's what I had. All right. So again, brought to you by Twidware, 10-minute moment. My name is Doug Rice. This is the Doug Rice Show. I do thank you so much for showing up. And if you determine that you want to support this effort, please feel free to do so. We do have the edifices below, and there they go. Thanks so much for showing up to the show. 10-minute moment. I got to go. Bye-bye now.